This is where the fun begins.
The fate of the galaxy is now in your hands. With the new LEGO Star Wars Slave One, you can load Captain Solo, arm your weapon systems, man the cockpit, and take off with the most feared ship in the galaxy. But watch out for rebel ships. No matter the enemy, no matter the firepower, you control the action. With the new LEGO Star Wars collection.
Hey everyone. Well, I guess my cursor is very picky because it didn't let me finish my intro and then went quickly to the commercial. But how is everybody doing today?
We're all trying to wake up. That's what we're doing. We suck.
Right. And I'm so
boomerang left and right.
Right. And I'm so happy to be back with you guys. And guess what? We are going to go over Boba Fett. And, you know, he's not going to be yeeted out of his own lore with this one.
The book of not Boba Fett.
Right. We are doing blood ties. And you guys look at, I found my shirts. I'm not trying to just show my boobs off or anything, but look at, I found it. Bounty hunter, that's
cool. Yeah, like Bounty. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I love that too. I was looking all over for it, and I finally found it. It was I folded it and put it away, and it was buried under some stuff, and I didn't look in that spot. You know how that goes. You put it away, you just forget, and then it's there, and you probably looked there about 5 million times. So until finally you give it a rest, and then you go back and boom, there it is. It's like some little something messing with you in the universe. Like, we're gonna just trick her. So
you know what's funny? I saw the big thing on the big letters, Boba Fett is dead. If people didn't know better, they'd think this was a drama stream we were about ready to do. And it's like, no, this is the title of the comic.
Right. They're like, what? Boba Fett's dead? What's going on now? And then they're
like, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, that show sucks. It's like, no, this is the comic.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah. And then, the thing is, and I was going to say this prediction for the book of Boba Fett, because we really don't see him, later on, go towards the sequel trilogy. Well, they don't, because I hardly pay attention anymore. I only do research for it. And what if they kill him off? What if they kill him off, after the book of Boba Fett? Like during or like after they're done with all the entirety of the book of Boba Fett.
Ooh, okay, I take it back. We're actually making a prediction. There you go. We said it here first. No, geez, channel. You heard it here first.
I was thinking about that because of the fact that I'm like, okay, we never see him. We know that in the original lore, that we're going over today, that he, helps he helps the Jedi. When the new Jedi Order, fight against the Vong, eventually and stuff. Yeah. And then later on, he is in like Legacy of the Force, and he trains Jaina Solo. So we don't see him at all, around the sequel trilogy, not even in any other programs that are tied around it. Right. Yeah. So what if they do kill him off?
Ooh. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's kind of like they bring back Han to kill him off, bring back Luke to kill him off, Leia. Leia kind of deleted in real life too, but it's like, okay, because I and I know that they would have kept her alive because woman.
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's just a possibility. That's kind of what they've been doing with the legacy or the iconic characters of Star Wars. And so I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, because he was such a big influence later on in the lore. And, and he was the Mandalorian leader, the Mandalore. People are saying that they're setting him up to be the Mandalore. I don't see that in the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So nope. I don't see that. So let's go on and see who's in the chat. I have Dermont McQuaid. Hello there, newly subscribed. Well, thank you so much for joining the channel. And I have this glare on the back of this. I need to close my curtains better. But this is going to eventually be a painting.
Yay.
So I don't have the green Copic color marker I need, and I need to go grab it, go to the art store and grab the new color or the filler, the refill for it. But that's going to be the next painting to come up that it's going to have Slave One.
Yay.
I know. I'm just like obsessed with just keeping slave one in the front, in the forefront, in front of everybody, so.
Yeah, I think it's Dermot. I don't know if that's Scottish looking at your last name, but for sure, Dermot, that's a name. Yeah. So let us know if you want to let us know where you're hailing from.
Yeah. I know you're very curious with that because the studio owner where I work at, her last name is McQuaid. And she's like Irish, but her husband is Sicilian.
Yep, there you go. Yeah. Usually when you see that Mick thing, that could be what's going on. But it depends. McQuaid, it's Irish. Yay! And I hope your next thing is going to say you're from Cork, because that's the only Ireland. Well, no. That's not the only Ireland. It's the best of Ireland, and the best of Ireland, despite what the people that make fun of Cork say.
And then he wants to know: is RG Star Wars a prequel fan? Yes, I like the prequels. I've never had anything bad to say. I do understand some things could have been done better, but I rather enjoy them. Hello, Lady T.
An elf is in the house. We have an elf.
Right. And then everyone asked me this, it's a long story, but no, it's actually a name I came up with. Oh, they're talking to themselves there. Yeah, I'm just being nosy. So let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. Oh, Keely's here. Hello, Keely. Hey, everybody, and good morning. And you guys, what's in your mug? What are you enjoying? And Teresa, how are you doing? I haven't had a chance to ask you that. We just came straight in and just started yapping away.
Yeah. I am housebound again, and though for once it's not because I'm quarantined for the friggin' tooth. It's we're having a big old winter storm. So it's like everyone needs to stay in. It's like, well, if you insist. And I'm sitting here in my PJs and a nice cup of hot coffee that is pumpkin spice, and
you would have set Stig off. You would have set him.
Yeah, he's gonna wake up in about a few hours and go, I had the worst dream. Pumpkin spice coffee.
They were pouring coffee and pumpkins, and then he's gonna go all
he's like, it was you, Teresa, wasn't it?
I had a vision, and Teresa was in it, and she was drinking pumpkins and coffee, and it was just horrible. And then let's see here who else is joining us. Salty Texas Sea. Hello.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Dermot, I'm not going to answer that question.
I'm making my way down in the chat to see what's going on. And then we have Rogue Disney. Hello. And let's go ahead and scroll down here. And of course, thank you for gracing the chat as well, Miss Martin Muses. And let's see here. And I have 26 Snoopy 82. Hello. How are you doing? I don't recall if I've ever seen you in the chat or anything. So welcome. Let's see here. And we have Fuck Norris. I love how he has that spelled, and you have to really say it too. Or Fooch, would you say Fooch Norris, or would you say, how would you really pronounce that, Teresa?
Hello, Fuck Norris.
Yeah, Fuck Norris. There we go.
That's German. That's German for Fuck Norris.
Well, we have that hard G in Lakota, like a huyapi is bread. And so yeah, I get it. It's like you're spitting. You're spitting, but you're not spitting to do that pronunciation. Yeah. Yeah. So kuyapi. So you really have to, your mouth has to be really, you have to have like no dry mouth to kind of say that, because then it's not going to come out right. But you don't want to spit either. So let's see here. And then, hello, how are you doing? Does Lego know they're still advertising Slave One? That's from the 80s too, I believe. That one's from the 80s, but it's still up on YouTube.
How dare they? How dare
Yeah, so hopefully don't take it down. Well, I have that video clip. So if they take them down, I have that one at least. I should go find all the ones and then save them. Let's see here. And then Keck 44, hello. And then who else we have here? Chaos Man, hello. the last time we see him is when he rescues Dala from prison to cure the virus that prevents him and Myrta from going to Mandalore. Yeah, they were resolving that, and I believe that eventually Myrta did get it resolved. So that worked out for the family, but then the sellout happened, and so we don't get any more stories regarding that. Boba Fett, if you have not had a chance to visit his arc in the EU and go and read all of it, like all his stories and stuff like that, it's very interesting. They did him really well, I think. So Teresa, you're finding out with just this.
Yeah, because I didn't read a lot of Boba Fett, so it's fun to revisit it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get into the book here, because I could sit here all day and chat with everybody, and everybody's just popping off in here, and I'm glad you guys are. You can keep it up in the chat, Dead Man, or I always say dead, but it's Dad Man Walking 55, So good morning, good afternoon. I'm looking forward to some more great discussions. Yes. I'm very excited about that too. So if I missed you as you guys are coming in, hello, and I will go back and read the chats as well as we begin to get further into the novels here, or not the novels, the comic here. And it says, where have I seen you before?
Yeah, I'm around. You'll see me I'm on Nina's channel. I think maybe it's Nina's channel where you've seen me.
Probably.
I'm on her channel on Sunday nights. Yeah.
What do you guys do again? What's that? Is that the Infinity Hope one?
No, the Sunday night one, that's the Sunday Night Hangs, where we talk about different TV shows, and we have one chosen for this Sunday, but I don't know if she's announced it yet, so stay tuned on Nina.
Yeah, I think she has family visiting too, so so she's got
we're gonna be back this Sunday, so
all right, so that sounds good. So you guys stay tuned, and she could tell you more information once she finds out as well. So let's get into this comic here. And so we have classic Vader here. So this is this is hinting on what's that we are gonna see a little bit of Vader, but I'm not gonna say anything else here. And this is Blood Ties. Boba Fett is Dead, number 3. Blood Ties is an 8-part series. We're on the second half, and so we're on the 7th one, and then we'll move on to the last one here. So. And to recap, so Boba's father, Jango, basically was set out to do a assassin mission by Dooku. And Dooku asked Jango if he wanted to know the circumstances and who that he was going to assassin. Jango said, I don't want to know. I'm just going to get the job done. So he takes Boba with him. And so Boba's the sniper. And he also, Jango was in there. And so as things were going down, it turned out to be a clone. The clone took off his mask, and Jango was pointing his gun right at himself. And so that was kind of a game changer for him, because, you get the feeling that, he didn't really think he was going to have to do that kind of stuff and look himself in the face.
It's like, I didn't sign up for this.
Right. It's like, he's like, he signed up to be the template for the clones, right? But then you never know when you're going to have to meet yourself in the face and have to kill yourself, right? So that's kind of weird. That's weird. I'm pretty sure, like, if it was any one of us, that would be just really, I wouldn't say life-changing, but really just kind of hit you in the, in the feels and and mentally as well. And it did with Jango. And so what Jango did is that when he was assassinating the clone, he found out the clone was basically, he defected from training and stuff. He didn't want that kind of life. He got a family. His wife was with him, and so was his infant. So that really messed with Jango. So what Jango did, even though he killed and he did what he was supposed to do, he also set up a fund for that clone. And then later on, as we get in, forward in time, and Boba's a man now, he runs into the clone's child. His name is Connor Freeman, and that clone basically named his family last name Freeman because he was free from, serving, in the army and stuff like that. And so we're getting to this and what's going on here. So very compelling story here, very interesting, because we never really get to really think about, okay, well, how does the clones affect Boba? The surviving clones as he grows up and stuff. So we get to see some of that. And Boba was very confused to find out that Connor Freeman, who looks somewhat like him because he is the clone's child. Why his father Django was funding him or giving him, trust fund and stuff like that. So very, very unique story. So let's go on here. So now we're at the Black Fell and Imperial Training Moon. So they're on the Imperial Training Moon. The previous comic, Boba Fett is going over there, and he basically made it look like his ship was malfunctioning and that he couldn't prevent himself from crashing down into the tower. All is set up here. And so now they're rushing. They're like, move, get the fire out. So now they're ready to, they, are taking care of business basically. And then here we go. So we have, we have him disguised here, and they're like, you. And then, so here we go. Of course, Vader. And he says, Lord Vader. He goes, what happened here? And then you could see Vader looking up at the burning tower. And then he tells him, a heavily damaged ship attempted to land in a docking bay. It took out the flight control tower. And then Vader, and I'm not going to even try to impersonate his voice and his breathing. So sorry, you guys, if you're disappointed. Unless Teresa wants to do a little bit of the breathing while I talk.
I don't know if that's a good Vader one. I just did my asthma imitation.
I think he would pass out eventually, so no.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. So he says, if it was so heavily damaged, why was it allowed to attempt a landing? Why was it not diverted to a safe area? And so he's like pointing right in his face. I couldn't say, Lord Vader. Who authorized this? Bring them to me. Dun dun dun. And then he goes, the officer who authorized the landing was in the control tower. Whoops. And then Vader just goes, a just reward for his incompetence. Wow, no mercy. Be about your duty, trooper. And he's like, yes, Lord Vader. Man, no mercy. He's like, okay, well, he got what he deserved. Oh, damn. And then so we go on here. And so we know that Boba had sent Connor to go protect this bounty hunter. Her name is Sintas Vel. And lo and behold, she's a Kifu. So she's a Kiffer from Kifu. So that's her species. So if you guys know Quinlan Voss, she is from his planet, his species. Mm-hmm. So they're partial human or something like that. Yeah, so, and you could kind of see she has her own tattoos, and each clan or tribe, they all have their own distinctive tattoos.
Yep.
So, and then if both parents are Kifu, then the family gets the mom's tattoo markings. But if wait, I take that back. If both of your parents are Kifu, you get the father's markings. But if your mom is, then you get her markings. So no matter what, but like if you have a full-blooded family, I guess you can say, if we're going to go that way, then you adopt the father's markings. So that's how that goes. A little bit of, fun facts there.
Yep. The more you know.
The more you know. And I wish I had that little thing there. Maybe I'll download that. Yeah. Oh my God. Memories. Okay. So Concord Dawn, Sintas Vel's homestead. Now, Concord Dawn is part of the Mandalorian sector area. And a lot of Mandalorians throughout history also settled down on Concord Dawn. People don't realize that Mandalore wasn't just the only planet. It's the main planet where the Tong settled. But Concord Dawn is another settlement of where the Mandalorians settled down at. And so is this how you greet everyone who comes to your home? And so she's pointing, or he says that to her, and, she's pointing the gun at him. Look we have a strong female here,
Mm-hmm.
They exist.
Yay.
Yeah, she's a badass. I like her. And she's all, yes. And then, why are you looking for me, Cyborg? And he's like, actually, it's kind of hard to explain, but I promise I intend you no harm. And then all of a sudden, they both get fired at. And there you go. time to die, Sintis Vel. So here we go. So we have a lot of like Deveronians coming after her. Look at that. Look at all those horned beasts there.
You see all these little red.
Yeah, exactly. All the horned beasts, they're red. Yeah, look at that. and we do have a few that are slightly different color, which is part of canon or part of the lore, anyways. And then so they have to get behind the post for cover, and he goes, yeah, I know this looks bad, but they're not with me. And then the little girl, Mom. So that is Sintis Val's daughter, Aelin Val. And then she's all telling her, stay down, Aelin. And then go protect your daughter. I'll hold them off. And all of a sudden we see something firing from the window there. And she protect my daughter. So look at that. This little girl, she knows what to do. That's freaking crazy. Yeah. I like that.
It's a harsh world.
Right. She's training her daughter to protect herself. And I think that's I see that a lot in Star Wars. And I think that's pretty cool. But, I that's why I like the original lore of Star Wars is that we see characters like this knowing how to protect themselves, fight, and all this other stuff. And, not that there's guns and stuff, or whatever, but that's what I like, and stuff. So, and then he goes, ion cannon.
Oh,
yep, exactly. And it hits their land speeder there. And there says, and then they're screaming, hey, and oof, so they're falling over. They got hit. And then there she is. She's like, looks very proud of herself.
Little demon child. Damien. Yeah, she has that same smirk. That she has the Damien smirk. Like, I just killed some people.
Right. She's like, shot them down. Yeah. Oh my God. And if those don't know who Sintis and Aelin are yet, we're getting to that. I'm not saying a thing. If you do, and if you already spoiled it in the chat, then okay, that's cool. But if you haven't, then don't spoil it. And then so she says, my daughter doesn't need a lot of protection. And then she goes, take them out before they get their bearings. And so they start shooting them out. Look at that. Mm. Well, you got to, or, it's got.
Yeah, kill or be killed. Yeah, look at that.
I was going to say that, kill or be killed, and so they're running for cover. They're like, oh, shit, well, maybe we shouldn't have done this, basically. They weren't expecting to, for that to happen. Of course, no one does. And so, they go running to shoot them, chase them off. Nice little action scene here with.
Good.
Yep.
Or gee whiz, I don't even know. Although the way they put consonants together in this comic is insane. How do you pronounce KZTZ?
Gets out.
It's like gee whiz.
Well, I hope the chat is enjoying the like badow dow badoo, but that's cool. And then you got Katsao out of nowhere. All right. And so now we have a Deveronian. He's laying on the ground. He's the green one. And Connor says, drop the blaster. And she comes up and says, hi, I want you to know your entire hit squad was taken out by a little girl. Oof.
Uh-huh.
And I was looking at Sintis Val because I know I promised to do a Jan Orr's cosplay, and I don't have everything to make it happen just yet. And I've gone through some financial situations where I had to postpone it, and I'm sorry. But Sintis Val is another one that I can easily pull off to cosplay on my channel. It'd be easy because I already have black sports bra, I already have like black leggings. I just need to get the little accessories and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, fun stuff. Then she goes on to say, now who sent you? And so she has the barrel up against his nose. Not fun at all.
No.
Yeah. And so it says, bounty hunter scum, I'll die before I tell you any. And she's like, okay.
Oh.
And she shoots him.
Boom. That's
She's
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Right up his nose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with Kafars, I really think that they are a very strong warrior people. Getting from how Quinlan Voss, how you see his demeanor, because he's very stoic, and stuff. And I wouldn't say it's like tribalistic kind of thing, but they do have clans, but they're very warrior like, and they're very they have fighting instincts and stuff like that. So I think the Kifu are the Kifers, that I think that I wish we would have got more about them in the lore. So and then she goes on to say, so mystery man, do you have a name? And he's going to say his name, and he says Quinny instead. And let me see, I got to zoom out a little bit because I can't see that. Whoops, wrong one. Oh, there we go. All right. And he goes, so he's all set. Quinny, you have a pause in the middle of your name. She's like, nothing's getting past her. She's like, dude, come on now, be real.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say, no, I don't think so. No, I didn't think so. We can't stay here. The Deveronians who escaped have seen your face. I have a safe house in the village. Come with us. So now they're going to go to her safe house. So they're on Cockroach Dawn. They have the little, I guess you could say, homestead, and then she has a safe house. Smart lady. Now we're going back to the moon. And here we go. So we have a lot. And so a lot of these are now stormtroopers, basically. So we've seen the evolution of, storm, like from clone to stormtroopers here. I forgot what standard year this is for this era. Because I know, of course, it's after Return of the Jedi. Boba Fett is a man now. But I don't know how far this is towards the OT. That's the thing. So I haven't researched it. I'll look it up or whatever. So, but it's fun to see the evolution of these armors from clones to stormtroopers. And anybody in the chat, if you can look that up for me and let me know, then that would be great. Let's see here. So they're in there and they're having a spar right now. Hit him again, trooper. Keep your opponent off balance. Don't give him time to act. So it looks like training spar or whatever. And so he gets socked in the face. Captain Weaves. I don't know if I said that right. Weaves?
I don't know. I can't read it. Sounds good to me.
You said it right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. I believe you. And then it says, there's been an explosion, Captain. Lord Vader asked me to fetch you. So we have the guy in the armor here coming in. And he says, really, trooper, if I am needed, why would Vader take time to send someone? Why would I not be contact on the comlink? And then he goes on to say, a mark of respect, perhaps. And then he goes on to say, respect. Perhaps you should have shown me some respect and come up with a better lie. I know the trooper who wore that armor. I know he no longer lives. Oof.
Dun, dun, dun. And
then so we'll go on with this. He goes, I don't, and look at he his persona, he kind of looks like I'm gonna go there. It looks like a Mexican gangster or something like that.
Well, you could say that because you don't live near the border. Like she said it. Anyone listening, I didn't say it. Okay.
How far are you from the border?
I won't say.
Okay. I am like 3 hours from where I live. So
okay. Well, you've got protection. I don't have.
I'm a lot closer, and I'm not gonna compromise myself whatsoever here with that comic. No, but that's what he looks like. He looks like a G. He looks like a vato, whatever. But he's like, hey, he's got the look like a goatee looking thing, unless it's just it's a goatee or something. Yeah, I don't know. That's just my observation. I know in Star Wars, race isn't really a thing when it comes to humans. It's species within the humans, and stuff like that. It's very different. And you have partial humans and stuff like that, and humanoids and other species and stuff like that. So race in the human race is never a thing there. So there we go. And he goes, I don't know who you are, but coming here alone To face an elite force of Imperial army is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And then he goes on to say, it looks like we have a live target to play with for training today, men. Attack formation 7. And then he goes on to tell the commander right there, attack formation 7. You have a formation that means line up in front of the grenades. Wow. And he's like, what? And then he starts shooting. Wow. And then they all go off. So, I mean, literally, like they explode there. And then he weaves, I need information from you. And then he, he's like moaning and stuff. I'm not going to try to moan or do that saying there. You don't have time to make me talk. Explosions tend to bring people running. He's like, and I'm counting on that. So there you go. I don't think this person's stupid, really. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. And then, and mind you, I said that, like I announced Coffee Chat saying, and Boba Fett won't be left out of his own, series or whatever. Well, he's not. You'll find out what's going on here. Moments later, 5 minutes later, I wish I could do that per station from SpongeBob. 5 minutes later, whatever. But get those men to the medical bay. And then so they start dragging them out. Sorry, guys. And then the alarm goes off. Full lockdown. We have an intruder on Black Fell. And he's a blast. He's like, and then the alarm warning goes off. Full lockdown. All troops return to their barracks. Close all docking bay doors. Oh my God. So here we go. And of course he uses his jetpack. They fly now.
Yay, they fly now.
So he's carrying his man with him. Hey, don't you hear? We're on lockdown. First of all, if you see someone flying away and holding on to another person and it's like we have an intruder, wouldn't you put 2 and 2 together, dumbass?
Well, these people they're not very smart.
Oh my God. And then so he lands and throws him down and he says, you won't get off this moon. He goes, the flight control tower will never give you clearance to leave. And he goes, I already took care of that. So he wiped out the control tower. He infiltrated, kidnapped that man, and we'll find out here soon why. And then he gets away with him and flies away. He took care of things. There you go. In a nutshell. And then we'll go on to, now we're back on Concord Dawn. So they're making it to Cinta's safe house. He goes, or she says, you two head on down. I want to check the defense and make sure we weren't followed. And then she goes on to say, Aelin, straight to bed for you. And so they're making their way in there. She's just making sure their tracks are covered. They weren't followed. So my mom says you have a weird pause in your name. And he's like, no, I don't. And he goes, I love kids because they don't care. They'll just talk and say the craziest things. And sometimes it's like they don't have a filter, No. And that's one thing that, I've taught my youngest daughter is that she always spoke the truth, even when she was asking questions and stuff. So I didn't really want to say, hey, don't say that or something like that unless it was necessary. So if she spoke a truth where it made people think or like, oh my God, I really didn't care as long as it wasn't like too bad, I guess you can say, because when you teach your children or whatever to ask questions and talk truthfully, instead of beating around the bushes or whatever, then, I think it creates bigger confidence in them. So there we go. And she's all, I figured you want something to eat. And then he goes to her, you're supposed to go straight to bed. She goes, yeah, well, you're not my dad. He's dead. Oh my God, that's so sad.
Gee whiz.
And those who, again, You're going to find out who she is. I'm sorry. My dad was taken from me when I was very young too.
Oh.
Yeah. He was just a baby when Django killed his father.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then she's all, who took him? And then he says, he's not exactly the nicest, or excuse me, he is not exactly the nicest of bedtime stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, he got shot, by a bounty hunter.
Yeah, that looks just like my father. That basically was his template, basically. Yeah. My father killed my father, if you want to say that.
Yeah. That's messed up.
Sounds so weird, huh? That's cloning for you.
Yeah, that's why cloning's a bad idea.
Right. It's very odd. And then she goes, does it have blasters and monsters? I love monsters. And then he goes on to say, does it have monsters? Well, I thought it had a monster. Oh, he's kind of coming to terms with everything. And here we go. So he's going to tell her a little bit here. So he says, a monster who killed my father, but then that monster secretly provided for me. Then his son, who I thought was also a monster, saved my life twice. So that's his perspective. That's what he came to. Very interesting. So I'm going to go back to that real quick for those. So basically, this is the story in short told by him. Django had, the bounty out for him after he killed his father, the clone. The wife came out carrying the baby and stuff. And that kind of, like I said, it messed with his mind. Look at how he's like, look how he's thinking here, because Boba was made to be his son, but also to carry on the legacy as a Mandalore. Per Jaster, who was also Django's adopted father, and then when Jaster found Django, he took him and as a youngling or foundling and brought him into the Mandalorian culture. Mandalorian is not a race, it's a culture. Yep. And any species can be brought in. And so that's the original lore. I'm seeing that. I'm looking at the new lore with Mandalorians is that's all human race, but we'll find out. And then, this is it in short here. And then so she goes on, your stories have complicated monsters.
Yeah. That's cute.
Yep. And then she goes, in my stories, the monster just eats people.
Yeah, it's very saying. Well, why not,
Yeah. And he goes, yep, that's pretty uncomplicated. And then she goes on to say, you're not very good at this. And he goes, I'm sorry.
Glad you tell me these things.
She is so direct and everything. Oh my God. And then how about I tell you a story? He's like, okay. She goes, right. Once upon a time, there was a vicious rancor. I fought a rancor once, he tells her. Good for you, but we don't interpret story time. Oh my God.
Gee whiz. Time for this child to die. Whatever. No.
Oh my God.
Teresa. I'm sorry.
You're like, I'm done with the principal's office now. Oh my God, that's hilarious. And then I haven't seen the chat yet, so if you guys are still hanging in there with us, thank you so much. If you are joining us, and then those who I haven't said so before, what are you enjoying in your beverage? What's in your mug? And thank you again for being with us. And I will jump into the chat here pretty soon, and we'll see what's going on. And then so now we are, looks like slave one. Hello. And then hello. And then is anybody? And he's all you. So he has his captive and he's tied up and everything. And Boba Fett's back. It looks like he's back in his armor, I'm guessing. Yeah. And then and it says, but we killed you. He goes, oh yeah, and that's right. This is the person who set out the people, the assassins, to try to kill Boba Fett. So that was another part of the story. And And that's why it says Boba Fett's dead, because everybody thinks he's dead because they thought that he was killed. And then he's like, yes, you killed me. And that made me very, very angry.
Yeah. I'd take it personally too.
Right. And he's like, I collect the teeth of monsters. Monsters weaves. This is the tooth of a balyag. So in the beginning, the reason why Boba, is basically he can still look fear and fear in the face, or like, monsters and fear in the face and stuff, and not falter and stuff, is because his father tested him and set him in to get a tooth from the balyag, which is one of the biggest like feared monster, I guess, in the galaxy, what I'm guessing. And so he accomplished that. So now he can like look fear in the face and stuff like that, and and not run and stuff. So that was a lesson that he did. Very different than the Boba Fett that is coming out in Disney. So,
well, yeah,
very, very different. And then he goes, it's still coated with some of the beast's venom. Of the agony this venom causes. He's like, I do. Tell me what I want to know. Holy shit, he's gonna torture him.
Time to bring out the rack, kids.
Exactly. And then he's all, hey, wake up. So now we are back at Conquer Dawn at Census Stronghold here. And she's like, hey, wake up. And she goes, sorry, story time is pretty effective. That's what he tells her. So he falls asleep on her. So we don't know what happened, what she said. But she's pretty direct, and it triggered Teresa. You like, oh, you little brat.
I don't know. I was just getting sick of her. It's like, come on, it's like, just shut up and go to bed.
Right. Don't you obey your mom?
Yeah. Oh, but then we having some loving.
Yeah, and here we go. So, and then she, Sentis comes to Connor. She goes, I suppose I should thank you if you hadn't arrived when you did. And then Connor says, and you and Ayla would probably still have beaten those guys. And then she goes, well, yeah, but I appreciated the effort. And so they're looking at each other. And again, he looks like Boba Fett because his father was a clone. So they're looking at each other, and she goes, you remind me of someone. And then he's like, good someone. And then she kisses him. And then and then I'll take that as a yes. And she's like, shh. So
you like me because I'm a scoundrel.
There we go. And so now we go back to, and if you guys haven't figured it out yet, between the faces of Boba and Connor, I think that kind of tells you. All right. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. And then Sentis, her response. So again, those are the chat. If you know already, that's cool. I'm not going to say nothing just yet. They told me the Empire couldn't appear to be against bounty hunters. We needed other sentients involved, hence the Rodian and also a highly decorated soldier. So here we go. And he goes, was a highly decorated soldier? Who told you? Who arranged this? So he's getting information what happened with the assassination and stuff like that. And let me see here. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any super chats and all of that. All right. So we'll get back to the chat here. We're almost done with this comic here. And then, so here we go. So, and the story plot kind of are like the story goes along, and we'll find out a lot more with Boba, Sentis, and all of them what's going on here, and why the assassin was, why they are sending to kill Boba, and also trying to kill Sentis as well. And basically, this guy right here is looking at the holocron here of an image here, and then he's all. We would have been 30 today, Tai Chin. And then someone walks in and says, Governor. And then There we go. So Tai Chin is there's a reason why he's dead. There's a reason why this person here that's looking at, this is his father that's looking at him in the holocron image there, the hollow vid or the hollow picture or whatever. And so there's a reason there. So Teresa, the plot kind of thickens here. So I don't want to really say anything. This is Teresa's first time viewing all of this. So that's why I'm not saying too much right now.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. The plot is thickening.
Yes. And then let's see here. So he's telling Tai-Chin, who is talking to him. So that's the woman, that this guy in this image would have been 30 already today. And then going on, a woman called Tai-Chin, she's the spy master of the governor Purdon. So he's like, what? And a Purdon, why do I know that name? Dun, dun, dun. And then, so she is his spy. She sent out assassins for Boba and for Synthis Val. Okay. And his son was killed. And so he's mourning his son. He would have been 30. So there you go. So here's some key information here. Yeah. And then, so now we are, back with Synthis and Connor. And she's like, so I don't know what happened there, but you can leave it to the imagination here. So, and then he says, let me see, I don't know who's talking here or who's this, but it says, I assumed you'd know who he is, Fett. Okay, so that's the guy he took. Seen as he went to such great lengths to have you killed. He's the governor of Concord Dun. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So here we go. The Deveronian attack succeeded, Governor. So she thinks it succeeded, but it really didn't. All right. And then, so he's still looking at his son. He's still mourning his son right there. And now we're back at, looks like, Synthis stronghold here. Synthis Val has been driven into her safe house. Oh, they wanted her going to the safe house with her daughter. She's trapped herself without realizing it. The attack will begin on your authorization, sir. Okay, so there we go. So they put her in the corner, basically, to attack her. So there we go. So they know where she's at, even though Synthis thinks that they weren't followed. And then, so he goes on to say, the governor says, Purdon says, I'm going along. I want to know there will be no reprisal, and I want to be there when they're killed. And then, so Tai-Chin says, are you sure, sir? I think it's best to keep your name out of this. And he's like, no. Again, so he's mourning his son. His son died 30 or some odd years ago. Okay, so, and he would have been 30. So he's getting revenge here. So Teresa, so
revenge is mine.
Right. So so you have an inkling like, okay, so he sent people to kill Synthis and Boba, so they did something. So there we go. And then, so now he looked like it's being, or like, Connor is looking at now a hollow pick here. I don't care about being kept out of this any longer. And then, so he's eating, he's looking at this thing here. It's a terrible thing, Tai-Chin. So they're still talking while Connor's looking at something here. It's a terrible thing, Tai-Chin, to outlive your child, but, and then Connor says, oh no. So we're going to find out right now what's going on here. Mm-hmm. It's a far more terrible thing to know. His murderer's family is still alive. And then he goes, I'm in so much trouble. So there we go. There's the reveal. Boba Fett at one time decided to settle down, try to have a family. Him and Synthis Val met. And we're together for a while, and they had a child. And he's like, "Oh shit! I just made out with Boba Fett's wife." Look at his face. He's like, "Oh, holy shit!"
That's awesome.
Right. Excuse me. Right. And then there we go. So now we're going to part 4, and here we have Boba Fett right there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chat. But before we get with the chat, Teresa, what do you think so far?
That was a fun one.
Uh-huh.
Except for the kid. I don't know. For some reason, it's just like she said one thing too many. And I'm like, shut up.
Right. So let's see here. And then like, dang it, chat froze on me. Oh, I'm so sorry, Zagharat. I want to say 8 ABY. Was it 8 years ABY? Is it
after battle? Yeah. Oh, gee whiz. I don't know when the hell this is.
Yeah. Because I know it has to be. I know it's earlier in his life, but it has to be near the OT or slightly after. So it could have.
Okay. Everybody, Google.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm looking for. It would be ABY. My bad. Oh, he's just correcting himself there. And chat, what do you think about this? If this is your first time getting into Boba Fett's lore here and finding out that he had a family at one time, what are your thoughts? So let me know in the comments here. Let's see here. I'm scrolling up just to see if there's any questions or anything else like that. And let's see here. Are they making sandwiches too? And then let's see here. This has no Power Rangers than Disney Star Wars left out. It's much better. No Power Rangers. We did see a land speeder, but that was it. But again, Star Wars lore has some crazy funky like original lore has some crazy funky kind of like vehicles and stuff too. So but I get how people feel about those Vespas that were on Tatooine. They were just a little bit like they didn't feel like they fit on Tatooine. So I get what you're saying. So let's see here. Teresa, did you read the Kenobi novel?
Oh yes, hell yes.
Do you remember some of Jabba's minions going to talk to Oren Gold, and they came in on their land speeder, and how it described it like having flames on the side and bumping music, and they go in to talk with Oren in Annaline's shop?
Well, yeah, it was it was the 70s.
Yeah. Right. So we, like I said, there are some crazy adaptations to vehicles and stuff like that. And those minions had flames on the side of their land speeder, and they came in with loud bumping music kind of deal. So yeah, so like I can't really, get too upset with that, although it's I think that those Vespa type things, they could have done them a lot better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it didn't.
They could have adapted them a lot better.
My cat could have adapted them better.
Oh my God. The cat would be having someone drive them.
Well, that too, yeah.
You know how cats are.
Yeah.
And it says, I like to imagine Vader knew it was Fett, but chose to ignore him for killing weakling Imperials, as Vader hated most officers who had their cowardice and weakness. Maybe he did have, and people like got so upset when I said this on Twitter, like maybe a couple weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago. But I posted something about Vader has always respected Boba Fett. And then also I also reported that Boba Fett was the only one that could best Vader in a fight that was non-Force user.
Mm-hmm.
Because and then people just like lost their minds with that. And they're like, how could he, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, because he was a trained fighter and Mandalorian. And then he also had Mandalorian type training in a sense through his father. And they were Jedi killers. And that's why Jaina Solo sought him to train, because the Mandalorians are Jedi killers, right? And and so she needed to have separate training from what her brother expected of her.
Yeah.
And so people, again, and I'm like, this goes to prove that these people really didn't care about the lore in the past. They never read it. They never got into it. But now they're trying to say, oh, it was all bad and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, first of all, shut your hole. Okay. If you don't know anything about it, don't claim it was bad. If you haven't read it, don't claim it was bad. If you don't know the lore and the development, don't claim it was bad. Do your research before you talk. So
people don't care.
No, they don't care anymore. They don't even want to read. They think that everything now that's being shown on screen is all valid and stuff like that because they don't want to read. We're in a society that don't like to read anymore. They just want quick response of watching something.
They just repeat what everyone else is saying.
Exactly. And let's see here. The Minions speeder. Yep. And I forgot who they were, but I have to go look it up.
Hey, I was going to say, I did look it up. This is, according to Wikipedia, one BBY.
Oh, 1 BBY.
That's what it says according to Wikipedia. Now, they could be liars. I don't know. I'm just, I Googled it.
I'll have to take a look too. But yeah, like I said, if it's 1 BBY, that'll be for Yavin. Yeah, that would be right before New Hope, I think. Because once you get to Revenge of the Sith, it start the time frame starts counting down. So that's like right before A New Hope, basically. So there you go. Let's see here. And then so thank you. I did show this right here. Come to Justin Proper's channel tonight at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for an all new episode of Tweebs. Okay.
No, this week in bullshit.
Okay, this weekend in bullshit. That's right. And isn't Lorena on that too?
I do believe she is.
Yeah. So you guys, go support other channels too. And even if they're going on the same time, go in and say hi. Give them the view. Say I'm dropping in, and then go back and forth and support these channels. Because we all have to. A lot of us sometimes air at the same time. We have no choice, and by just you going and clicking on and listening for a few seconds and leaving a comment, that's greatly appreciated. That is
absolutely. Yeah, we're far too big a group of friends now that we can put our schedules around who's streaming and who's not. It's just impossible. There's too many of us. But what she said, absolutely. Leave a like, leave a hi. I love seeing people just popping in, or even go ahead and listen in on the replay. That's also
right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. You could do that. Say hi. I'm going to catch the full video on replay. I just want to drop by and give you a like and support. There you go. Yeah, that's great support. So Chaosmon17 says, even though it's non-canon, in one of the Star Wars Tale comics, Vader and Boba Fett overhand in a lightsaber duel with Fett, mocking Vader for saying he was not the only one who killed Jedi. I believe that. I think I remember.
That's a good one.
That's a fun one. And that's the thing. People don't realize that there are some, like when they reorganize the EU, when they decided to make everything a part of like the EU a part of the saga, they deemed like other stories like what here, like the Star Wars Tales non-canon, just what if stories, just something fun that people can go read and say, what if it happened this way kind of deal. I think that was smart of them to do that. And people don't realize that, that's how the EU was set up. Okay, let's see here. And then exactly, Boba said Solo was no good. Whoops. There we go. Solo was no good to him dead. Vader respects Boba and promises he will be compensated. Yep. And let's see here. So so there's a lot of good stories out there. Let's see here. And then I meant that the Minion speeder was pimped. Yeah, there you go. I know it was pimped out. And when I read that, I started cracking up. When I first read it in the Kenobi novel, I cracked up. I'm like, really? Okay, well, I guess, we have speeder bike gangs. We read about them in Shadows of the Empire. So we have those that if you were to see them in comics or whatever, they kind of resemble, what the patches or jackets or just like how their garb looks, and stuff, so that we can kind of relate to it. So seeing something like that where these gangster thugs are coming in to collect money kind of makes sense, I guess, but still it's like I said, we can't be too mad at the Vespas because there's other things that had occurred that were kind of like made you scratch your head like, really, you had to do it that way. So all right. And then I was agreeing with you. Yeah, you were. I wasn't disagreeing either. So, but yeah, let's see here. And we're going to get ready to go to the other comic. And to the end, the story is getting thick here. Teresa, I'm really excited for you to hear the rest of this and why Boba killed that guy. So, I kind of Yeah. So, but anyways, Chaos Mountain 17. Very few Tell comics were actually canon in the EU. One of a few was Vader meeting C-3PO during episode 5. It was mentioned in the Rise and Fall of Darth Vader novel. Yes, that was very sad. That was very sad. And I have this guy here that wants to come in and do some nonsense. No, thank you. Okay. Let's see here. Tommy, hello. How are you doing? Hey. And how is your guinea pig army? Kitty Chow there. Yes. And let's see here. And Eldrick Lord Huster. And yep, I got the bot. I got him. Got
Nuke the bot from orbit.
Right. So there we go. So here we go. So we have Boba Fett. I almost thought of doing a Boba Fett in this kind of pose with Slave One behind him, but I was like, no, I want most of his body in it with Slave One off in the distance. I thought about putting Slave One like a dark background and Slave One kind of like hovering, or whatever. But then, I've got a lot of people saying, well, it looks like someone stole his ship and he's standing in front of it. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll have a platform and put it on a platform. So we'll see how that goes. So here we go. So Boba Fett is dead, the last one here. And so look at it. Okay, so Connor is now realizing what is really going on here. And I gotta say, these Fetts don't know how to research, except for Boba. It seems like Jango, his mistake of not knowing who he is going to assassinate led to all of this, right? And Connor never really asked anything, but I think also Boba Fett wasn't really wanting to tell anything either. So we have Connor in shock here. He's eating and he's realizing oh shit. And then so Sentis comes up and says, what are you doing? And he's I'm sorry, I was up and then he goes, this man, and then she goes on to say, he is Boba Fett, Aylin's father. And then she goes on to say, yeah, I was afraid you were going to say that. And then she goes on to say, he was a journeyman protector here for a time, but he killed a man, which is what he does. And he was exiled from Concord Dawn. So there's some of the truth, Teresa. There's more to that truth.
Okay.
So there's more to that. She didn't fully say exactly why he killed. So Boba Fett at one time decided that, okay, I'm going to try to be a family, ordinary man, blah, 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 blah. And shit happened. So let's see here. And then so Connor says, you didn't want to go with him? She goes, no, I didn't. My husband wasn't good for me or Aylin. And that's kind of funny because she's a bounty hunter too. And look how she trained her daughter to be. So, I think that's kind of, in a sense, hypocrite, but we'll find out why.
Yeah.
And then so now the alarms are going off, if you want to say that.
Literally.
And he's all, what's that? And she goes, the entrance door, there's a pressure center. And he's all, it stopped. And then she goes on to say, someone on the street probably just fell against the door. It happens before. And then she goes, Concord Dawn isn't the most advanced world. Some of the populace have a hard time with complex actions like walking. Oh, wow. She doesn't have a high regards for everybody on Concord Dawn. And then so she says to him, it's okay. You don't have to worry about Boba Fett. My husband is dead. He's like, sure. And then and so
no really, or maybe no.
Yeah, he's like, are you sure about that? And then now we have Aylin coming out. What's happening? I heard noises. And then she goes on to say, have you been kissing? And there we go, Teresa.
Oh gosh. Is this a kissing book?
No, wait till she says, wait. He goes, oh, what? No. And she's all, Aylin, kissing can cause space worms. Everyone knows that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it really needs to just go away.
Confirmed. Teresa does not like the young Aylin Val.
Girl needs to shut up. Know her place.
Oh my God. And then he looks down at her and says, what are space worms? And she goes, keep kissing, you'll find out.
Ew.
Wow. And you get his expression on his face too and stuff. He's like, all, I don't know. And he goes, your pressure sensor often gets tripped accidentally twice. And she's like, no. How safe is the safe house? And then Cinta says, well, the location is completely secret. And even if it were known, it's still almost impregnable. He's like, almost. And then she goes on to say, you need some very heavy firepower to get through that blast door. Now, we already know that they know where she's at. She doesn't know. She thought that she covered her tracks and didn't see any followers, right? Mm-hmm. But they know. And then look at that. They blast through the blast door.
Kang.
And he's all down. And, you know, of course, they're like, from the force of everything, they're already going down. And here we go. And he says, and so you see these guys with, you know, they have somewhat looking like armor, Mandalorian armor type armor kind of deal. Door breached, sir. He's all, well, Kaplan, get in there. And then they're all like, hold. And so now we're getting in here. It says, this woman is not to be underestimated, Captain Kaplan. And then so she's letting him know, hey, you know, watch yourself. That's Tai-Chin or whatever her name is. And let's not waste your men by sending them down a narrow stairwell into whatever trap Cinta's Val may have waiting. She has already caused enough pain to Concord Dawn. So she's like, hey, you guys need to be careful because the bitch doesn't play. And she's got a daughter who can pretty much stand on her own too. For Teresa, that's the demon child.
Yeah, demon child Damiana.
And then so it says Tai-Chin is right. This criminal has already brutally murdered an innocent group of Deveronians. Are you kidding me? They went to attack her. Oh my God. And she goes, grenades, she tells him. So I guess she wants them to throw grenades in there. So they do. And they're looking down and they're like, what the hell? So they start running, move. And then it goes off. And then we get Boba. And he's looking off into the distance. He's seeing what's going on by the smoke coming up from the attack. And he's like, yep, dun, dun, dun. Don't piss him off. Piss him off. Because, you know, that's his daughter.
Yeah.
That's his daughter. And then he's all, good. Now bring her body. And then Tai-Chin says, the safe house still burns, Governor. Do not order these men in there yet. Your revenge can wait a few moments. And he's like, of course. And then he says, belay that order, Captain. And see, he's going on emotion. He just wants them dead. He's going on revenge and emotion and all this stuff. So he's not thinking clearly, and she's trying to keep his cool, helping him keep his cool and slow his roll. So he tells him to delay. We will wait here until it is safe to enter. And then he's all, Governor Purton, you know, so he's like, what? And then all of a sudden, look who's there. It's Slave One.
Yay.
Slave One. Woo. If you want to go ahead and say those.
Boom, boom, ka-boom.
Right. And there we go. So he didn't just go march in there. He used his ship. So there you go. And then they're like, no. And she's like, sir. And he's like, we killed him. No, you didn't. And then so she says, sir, we have to get you to cover now. You know, he is a man who's pissed at this guy. Boba Fett's a man who's pissed at this guy, and you'll find out why. You failed me, Tai-Chin. And then he says, Fett may still live, but I will ensure anything he loves in that safe house is dead. And then Tai-Chin says, I can still take him. And then he points to his men. You men with me. And then so she says, Governor. So now their plans have changed. And so we have Boba Fett. He's now like coming out of his ship here. And He's busy. He means business.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. So we have Boba Fett shooting down here. And then he shot one of the guys here, and she's like, what? And then he keeps on shooting, hitting these guys here. She looks up, and then she's like, up there, take him out. And so they start shooting him up there. I mean, he could get cover. I mean, that was kind of stupid. So he could step back and get cover. And then now they're inside Sal's safe place, or Sentis Val's safe, safe home there. There's no way anyone could have survived this. And then Purton says, that's the sort of thing someone says the second before they get a blaster bolt through the head. And Yikes. He's like, you need to stay alert. Keep your idiot thoughts to yourself and stay alert. Oh, well, he's so nice, isn't he? And so now they're down in cover here. And so she's telling him to be quiet, or them to be quiet. And he's basically says, we don't want any surprises. And then, she's like, shut up. And she's giving them armor. So this Mandalore armor down there. And now we're back to Boba Fett. Fett, drop your weapon. And he's like, I'm busy.
Like, you don't say.
Oh, right. He goes, I know who you are, Tai-Chi. You're Purton's spy master. And she goes, yes. And he goes, you uncovered everything about me. You found the only people I care about, and you attacked them. You've studied me. So he's like, knowing what's going on here. And he goes on to say, you think you know everything about me? And she goes, yes. Then tell me honestly. And then, we have big explosion there. Do you seriously think there's any way you can win this fight? Oh. Look at her face. Yeah, look at her face. And then she's like, and then it says, yep. Right. And then so she goes on and her head's down. No, none whatsoever. Do you want to die today? She's like, no. The man you worked for will be dead by the end of the day. This I promise you. But you are cunning and resourceful. Killing you would be a waste. He basically says, you're mine now. I own you. You know so much about me. You're charged with protecting what you know. Agreed? And she's like, agreed. And then so he's pointing his finger at her and goes on to say, and then mind you, I'm like, I always look at similarities to characters that are being brought in to kind of co-star with these legacy characters. And in a way, she almost looks like that Fennec.
Oh, yeah.
In a way.
From a certain point of view, I think.
Yeah. Just, just how she looks like. Even the stuff around her waist, even though she's not like part cyborg now, like Fennec is. It looks like, she has, like the stomach waist and stuff like that. Kind of looks similar and stuff like that. And so he says, you work for me, you will be paid, but cross me or try to run and I will find you. And she goes, I know you will. And then all of a sudden we just see him standing there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's cool.
So it's like, okay, well, she knows all about him and stuff. And he's like, well, I need to either have control of you and stuff like that, or get rid of you. So it looks like they were shot there. She's gone. And he's not. So, all right. So then now he's like, he's walking in there and he says, we've searched everywhere, Governor Purton. There's no sign of anyone. Are you sure where there was anyone here to begin with? And then he's like, she's here. They must be hidden. It must be a hidden area. So they're looking around. We know that they're underneath. They're down there. Aelin is taking cover and the two are in Mandalorian armor. Search the walls, search the floor. And then what? And then so they come charging out in the armor and they're like, Governor. So here we go. So, and then so they start, shooting. And here we go. And then he's like, get them. And he's all, can you hear me? And I said, shoot them. So now they're almost like in an ambush. They weren't expecting them to come out in armor like that at all. So
no.
At all. And then so I'm guessing this is her in the red armor. I didn't see which one she put on versus Connor. So, but he's got the gun right in his face. And I don't know what you're doing here, Governor, or why you're trying to kill us, but it looks like you're on your own. And he's like, on my own? You knew my son, Sintis. He was the only family I had. His name was Linavar. He was lawman. He was a protector. So there we go. So that's his son's name. He was a journeyman protector here. And then he goes on to say, and your husband murdered him in cold blood. And then so he still hasn't revealed the whole story yet, Teresa.
Yeah.
So there's that. I understand wanting to kill Fett, but what twisted part of you decided the only way to make yourself feel better was to kill his family too?
Yeah.
So basically that's Connor, because he doesn't know exactly what's going on either. He goes, I wanted him gone along with anything he ever loved. You don't understand the hole he left. And to fill that hole, you want to elaborate revenge. So basically, like, you want revenge to fill that hole.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's messed up.
Yeah, that's
healthy.
Totally, exactly.
Don't do that, kids. All you listening at home, not a good idea.
Not a good idea. And so basically now she takes off her helmet and says, he killed my beautiful son. And even at the trial, he never bothered to give a reason. And she goes, there was a reason. He just never shared it with anyone. He kept it a secret to protect me. And yes, I know, Linavar, do you know what your beautiful son did to me? And he's like, what? And he's like, you're lying. And what, so now we have, looks like Connor right there shooting him or something. Yeah. And then Boba Fett's down there or looking from there. And then he's like, are you okay? And then they kiss and Boba Fett sees that. And then we have your favorite little girl. You will get space worms.
Like, shut up, kid. Shut up.
And then so she looks at him and says, it's time for you to go. And he's like, what? No, I'll stay. And she's like, no, I said you remind me of someone and I don't need to be reminding him of every single day. You tell Boba that when you see him. So basically, poor Boba, Dang. He like kind of walks away. Look at that.
I was going to say, my gosh, woman, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so Connor says, it's over. The man who tried to kill us is dead. Your family is safe. And he's all, you kissed my wife. And then he goes, she's not your wife anymore. And he's like, no. And he's like, here. And he goes, what is this? It's Puritan's tooth. I remembered you collect the teeth of monsters. So he gives him Puritan's tooth. So he can, have it. I figured the more he's basically, so I figured it, qualified basically. I can't read right now. And then, did you see Aelin? And he goes, yes, she's funny. She has our eyes. And then he goes, she does. And so I think there's a panel that is missing in here, Teresa, because I have blood ties in print.
Yeah.
And basically what happened was Puritan's son raped Sintis Vel. Boba got a job. He settled on Concord Dawn after he met Sintis. He is like, maybe I'll try to be a normal family man, and stuff like that. And, they had a child and stuff. Well, his boss, a journeyman protector, raped her.
Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
so he killed him for that.
Well, yeah, dude had it coming. Gee whiz.
Yeah, so that's what had happened, and so that's why. But because of all that, and because Boba also didn't want her to feel humiliated and stuff, he didn't share exactly why he killed her or him. Yeah, and that had caused a lot of strain between him and Sintis. He got exiled for killing the rapist from Concord Dawn, and that really put a bunch of strain between him and Sintis. And so he returned to his old ways, or back as a bounty hunter, and she settled down with the child. And she really didn't take that much bounty hunting opportunities after that because of her. And then the last time, and I'm just going to let you know a little bit about her. The last time she took a bounty hunter or a bounty hunter contract, she ended up going missing, Sintis Val, and Aelin was 16 years old during the time. So that's all I'm going to tell you about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Aelin Val grew up thinking that Boba just left them. She didn't really know why, and Sintis never really told her the whole story either. So there's a lot of like I would say good story there, because there's a lot of like structure and stuff going on in the story.
Sure.
And it's really well written for the family, the Boba Fett's family and himself and stuff. So it was really, really, really good. So what did you think about the story?
Oh, well, it was pretty good. I always knew that Boba Fett had this in his past, but seeing the way it all kind of played out, that was good. Oh my gosh, Matt Wilkins.
Yeah. Listen to the sound of no stig. Beautiful.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good comic. I think the art was pretty good. It told a good story, and some badass stuff there at the end. Yeah, good stuff.
Exactly. And like when you get into like legacy and all that stuff, and Boba Fett talks more about his family, and there's a lot more revealed about his family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He even admits that he has failed with relationships, that he basically is just a loner. He's better off that way, kind of deal. So we learn a lot more of him. That's why you see fans say what they say regarding the book of Boba Fett and how Boba reacts and how Boba is.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that just goes without saying. That's not Boba Fett. That's I don't know. We need to have him come up with a name like the way Mark Hamill had Jake for.
Yeah.
We need to have one for those for Boba Fett. I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. People have come up with like Beta Fett and stuff like that.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah. So I see that when I was like, oh, okay, Beta Fett. So Book of Beta Fett. Yeah. So there you go. And so Boba Fett's story, like I said, is very, very intriguing. I think it makes sense to his arc, especially like with how he was raised, how he lost his father, how he just became a loner and just a one-man wrecking crew when it came to bounty hunting and stuff like that. And then trying to settle down, trying to do something different, and realizing that it didn't work out, realizing that, like that tragedy also made him push him back to where he, normally back to his old habits and stuff too. Yeah. So very compelling stories here. So let's see here. And it says, I think Aelin was Boba in the Young Jedi Knights. Yeah, she did go dress in disguise as him, looking for him because she wanted him dead. His own daughter. Razvin, hello. Sintis, Aelin, and Myrta. Myrta Give. Yeah, I like Myrta Give in Legacy of the Force. She's pretty cool. Boba Fett. There you go.
Boba Fett.
Well, we can't really say that he's only fat for the Mandalorian, and now he's like in shape, so are not as big.
Well, come on, the dude's getting old. It's harder to keep the weight off the older you get.
Right, it is. It is. Our metabolism slow down, our body just ages, whatever. And then how you eat, you have to revisit that, because food that you used to be able to munch on don't quite, burn off like it used to.
Precisely. So I stand with Boba Fett. I feel bad for the actor. It's right. Like, come on, give him a break. He probably didn't even think he was going to get to act anymore. And then they're like, hey, want to be in Mandalorian? He's like, crap, and tries to go on a crash diet. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then so like I said, I've witnessed someone really bash Adam Driver because of Kylo Ren. And this person basically was like talking all kinds of shit about Adam Driver, and that is what you call can't separating the actor from the character. And I think that's an awful way to go, is to bash the actor based upon the character they played.
The actor's job, they don't get to write anything. Their job is to read the lines, to they're told to do, and to follow the director's direction. That's their job.
Exactly. And so I thought that was very, I mean, I don't have respect for the person really, and that just shows their true color. They can't separate. And even if they don't like the actor, you know, I mean, seriously, don't go off like that. You just make yourself look like an asshat. You know, when you start doing that. Like, there's certain actors I don't like, but then I like the characters they played in a show. That's fine, you know, but doesn't mean that I support them. It just means that I thought they did a good job with that acting, you know. So it goes both ways. And you know, if you're like I can easily say, well, then why don't you get an acting job and try that? You know, I can easily go down that road, but in reality, it's like, just have some compassion. If you don't like them, that's okay, but don't go off and look like an asshole. Really. And then let's see, the first 10 years of his life, and this is Boba, just with 2 women, Tonween and Zom. Correct. And that's another thing, is like, he really didn't have any mother figures, and what mother figures he had, the Camominians or whatever, they're very cold people. They are. So it would make sense he would have problems with women. Well, not really, because he really respected his wife and women and stuff like that. In fact, like in the beginning of Bloodlines, you know, someone was like, you know, he was pleading for his life so that he wouldn't be turned in for the bounty. And he's like, I have a beautiful daughter. And in fact, like, I hate it when people use, you know, their daughters and stuff for leeway and stuff like that. That pisses me off. He has a lot of respect for women. But if a woman's attacking him in battle, it's all fair game, you know, basically. And that's how I think it should be.
Yeah. You know? If someone punches you, you have a right to punch them back.
Exactly. And then Tommy here, if a crash diet includes eating boxes of Twinkies, well, sure.
There you go. Yeah, he's sitting there eating some wings, watching, I don't know, cricket or whatever they watch down there. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, what a be. It's like, I give the guy some leeway. I give them some leeway.
Exactly. And then Toto's basically says, an actor's job is to act, nothing more. Sometimes they don't like who they play. Correct. But they do it anyways. They're hired to do it, and they're the best for the job, right? And then don't forget Aura Singh. That was, I think, the Clone Wars Filoni's thing. I don't talk much about that era. So there's a lot of contradiction with that. So, I mean, but if you guys like that arc of his during that time, more power to you. And then says, unlike the TCW, Aura was not interested in training Fett. She just wanted Jango's bank account. Yeah, that's right. So here's the difference. So yeah, Aura Singh, and that's this, I'm talking about Aura Singh in the TCW. She wanted to train Fett and stuff like that. But the Aura Singh outside of TCW, she just wanted to use Boba to get to Jango's bank account. So there's a huge difference. So there you go. All right, you guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And thank you, Teresa, for being here. And I'm glad that you got to experience some new Star Wars lore.
Oh, hey, yeah. And it was fun. And I like going through it together with you and with the chat, and the chat always has a lot of great comments and makes it loads of fun.
Exactly. And like I said, unlike, you know, the Book of Boba Fett, Boba did make his appearances, and it is his show. You know, so I'm glad you guys joined in to have some fun and all that. So when we return back to Coffee Chat next week, we'll go back into Dina Shawn's arc. And like I said before, I wish we would have known or found out that she was tied to the Old Republic Shawns. That would have been cool to find out. We can only now speculate, and I think that she was a very, you know, a descendant of them. Yep. Orsing said, show me the money. Yep. Show me the money. That's all she wanted. She wanted the money. Dad Man Walking 55. Wonderful show. As always, see you next time. Yes. So, Teresa, where can we find you in the next week?
Well, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. And tonight, one of the things is going to be a lot of those, which is Once Upon a Time Season 3. We will be discussing that on my channel with Bigglesmet and My Nerdy Home, Stephanie. And then on Saturdays, we have our continuation of the Return of the King. We are going through the Lord of the Rings. We will be on the chapter which has the Battle of Pelennor Fields, one of my favorites. It's an amazing chapter. I'm really excited about it. We had to put it off because I had to have the plumber come last week. So we will be there at 11 o'clock Central. So please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe early and often, like it's in a Chicago election. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the chat.
Awesome. Yes. And so you guys will, if you follow her on Twitter, and even if you don't and you follow me, you'll probably see me retweet her announcements on when she's going live or what's going on. And so stay tuned for that. And I recommend, if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe and go check out her shows as well. And go listen to the previous ones to catch yourself up. So thank you so much, Teresa. And I'm just like super excited. And I was really happy to have you here to experience this new lore, including Boba Fett, since that, you know, basically you didn't really follow his lore, and you probably didn't have any interest to follow his lore until now.
Yeah, not really. And yeah, I think it's something that probably I would not have done otherwise. So, I mean, that's great. So it's a good way to not force my way through it, but yeah, I not that I have anything against the Mandalorian lore or Boba Fett or anything. It's just never been something that's been something I've been most interested in. That's all. Yeah, but it's fun. It's good stories. And since we're in a situation right now where we don't have a lot of new good content, going backwards and finding the old is always a pleasure.
Exactly. And that's what the channel is all about here, is keeping all the classical Star Wars original lore canon in front of you guys. And since the topic has been Boba Fett lately, I was like, you know what, we're going to change gears. We're going to get into some Boba Fett comics. And so they were very much enjoyable and so much fun. Thank you so much for co-hosting as well. And Panda Kalima says, it was cool to hear OG say Vato. Yes, Vato. Yes, exactly. And as for me, I'll be putting up more EU shorts. I have a video that I've been putting together called, basically it's about Iconoclast, and it goes towards Star Wars and other franchises that we're seeing the iconic characters being torn down. So if you know what Iconoclast is and know about it in history, it's about tearing down any type of icons that were worshipped, adored, or whatever, for whatever reason, almost like a nihilistic kind of situation, to change people's perspective and views about it. And we do see this in society with, you know, statues being taken down today. But, you know, stuff does leak into our favorite franchises. And so that's the culture war I'm looking at, is the Iconoclast of like Luke Skywalker and Leia and even Boba Fett. And so I'm putting that together. So I've been writing down my notes, doing some research, writing what characters I want to talk about and who, and all that stuff. So it's been a fun little research project on top of that. So hopefully that'll be up within the next couple of days, with my busy schedule. And then another one I think I was going to do was, I forgot now. Shit. Okay, then never mind. I will announce that on Twitter because I don't remember now. I had the idea last night before I went to bed. And then after that, I slept on it and now I forgot. But stay tuned for that as well. And thank you guys again. And meet me on Copy Chat. Oh, and literature review is Courtship of Princess Leia. We made a decision to just go back to Wolverton's book. Mm-hmm. And honor him and stuff. And that'll be on the 28th. I will announce the time here soon. So if you guys have not read Courtship of Princess Leia or want to revisit it, pick it up right now. It's a fun, short read. Well, I wouldn't say too short, but it's a fun read that you can get through in a reasonable time. So yeah, and that will be on the 28th, the last day of this month. And what else is going on? And then HoloNet Journal will be aired again towards the end of the month as well. We had a death again, and so I was like, we were preparing for all of that, so that just went ahead and canceled January's HoloNet or Holocron Journal show. So stay tuned for that. And we'll conclude with this, you guys. Stay up to date with researching and what you want to learn about the original Star Wars lore. Myself and many others in the Star Wars community who are share George Lucas's era of Star Wars, we are happy to help you guys with a starting point on where to read. So let us know if you need help, and also if you have any questions or just want to discuss Star Wars as well. I also compare and contrast, and I do that a lot right now on Twitter, which pisses a lot of people off. But hey, if I make people think, then I make them think, right? I mean, facts don't care about your feelings. So there you go. And thank you guys again for tuning in, and we will talk to you later. And thank you again, Teresa, for stopping in and co-hosting with me. I had fun with you.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for having me on, and it's always a pleasure. I always enjoy it, and enjoy being in the chat. So there.
So there. All right.
So there.
So there, take that. And then we'll end with that. You guys have a good day, and may the force be with you.
Yes.